Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you had a wonderful day, and we're going to be going over a few Trump stuff. Now, obviously, this is something that that probably doesn't really hit too much close to home, or rather, you people just don't care. Normally, these videos don't do too much, but of course, I had to do a report on it because this is a big deal. This is a big deal for New Yorkers because if this stuff does come to light, it doesn't really hold a very good precedent on the rest of you guys that are here in New York, or there in New York, or just in the country in general, and how communist these people are. So we're just going to get into this. I'm going to go over it as fast as I can. So we have this here. New York fraud bond cut to $475 million in appeal from $454 million. The key points are the New York Appeals Court paused for 10 days a massive civil fraud judgment against President Trump. The court also sharply reduced the bond he would have to post to obtain a longer stay to $175 million. And it says Trump's lawyers in the court finally last week said that it was impossible for him to get an appeal bond of $404 million to satisfy the judgment in that amount, having approached more than 30 security companies without success. Now, from what I gathered, it is literally impossible for people to get this amount of money in hard cash, and I'm not really surprised. I don't know anybody that actually has that kind of money in cash. I mean, why would you even need that much money to begin with in cash? Like $500 million. That doesn't even seem remotely reasonable in the slightest. But we all know that this case is a sham. Just like I have all the other court cases that are a sham. So, that being said, this is all insanity here, alright? This is the reason why we just do not have communist judges and what have you come into place here. So, we have the New York Appeals Court on Monday paused for 10 days at a massive civil business fraud judgment against Donald Trump and sharply reduced the $175 million bond amount he would have to repost to obtain a longer stay of that reward. Alright, so we have that. Now, I know the woke revolutionaries are going to come into my comments possibly, as they have done a little bit, and say, oh, well, no, this is not the case, this is what really happened, or etc., or that's not true. Well, it is true, unfortunately. This is the reality that you guys are going to be facing. And we have this here, obviously, that what we know about Trump's quest for a $500 million bond. Now, this is New York Times. We all know how trustworthy the New York Times is. And we're going to bust this article and the author of by Kate Christobeck and Ben Protest because these people are lying. Now, I have this highlighted for you guys to see this here. So it says, Mr. Trump exaggerated the property values and in turn his own net worth to obtain favorable terms from banks and insurers. According to Ms. James, at the trial at which last month, as James' lawyers argued that Mr. Trump's company had ignored appraisals and manipulated numbers to some absurd degrees. It says, to overseeing the case, there was no jury ruled in favor of Ms. James. Now, okay. Now, the big thing that I want you guys to probably see here is this one right here. At the trial. Because at the trial is going to explain a lot of things. So if we go here and we go all the way down to this part here, it says in September 2023, Engoron issued a summary judgment that Trump and his company had committed fraud for years. Well, that is the one thing that we have to... There's one thing that we have to look at here, guys. One thing, and that is the summary judgment. Now, we're going to look at what summary judgment actually means. It says, in law, a summary judgment, also referred to as judgment as a matter of law or summary disposition, is a judgment entered by a court for one party and against another party, similarly, i.e., without a full trial. So, that being said, they're lying here. There was no trial. There was no trial. There was no jury. So, I don't see how they can reasonably even do this at all when there was no trial, there was no nothing, and they just did this off the whim of what have you. Somebody committed fraud, and then you're not going to massive fraud by your own estimates, by your own statements, and you're not going to have a trial about it against a president, no less. See, this is where they're getting you guys. This is where they're getting you. New York Times has to go out and lie about what is actually happening because they're not actually a real good news organization. They're a propaganda media organization, and it is insane to me on why they're still even in business. So, this is without a full trial, right? without the full trial. So they're lying, and Trump had no trial. And we have this here from Tilby pollster warns in New York AG Letitia James that if she starts seizing Trump's property, you're going to create the greatest victimhood of 2023, 2024. You're going to elect Donald. And I would actually agree with this person, 100%. And the reason why I agree is because they tried to indict Trump. His polls went up massively. They arrested Trump, and his polls went massively. Every single time that they have done something to Trump, his polls go up massively. Why? Because it looks and feels like the whole judicial system is going after one man, politically. And we all know that political attacks and political attachments or what have you is bad. So if they do try to seize somebody's stuff, especially after, what we're seeing here without a full trial, without anything, yeah, that's not going to look good. It's going to look really, really bad. So we have this from Cernovich. I read the full Trump ruling finding him half a billion, and it's worse than reported. For example, Trump paid back the post office Trump DC hotel loan in full and made a $106 million profit. The judge stole all of it and claiming Trump never should have gotten the loan. So, he goes on to say, the judge then goes on to say the profits he made from the post office deal made him other future profits. But since he shouldn't have had a post office deal, we're going to take away downstream profits as well. It's unbelievable. So we're just going to read this one here. When Donald Trump sold the old post office hotel, he paid off the Dutch bank loan, and the following profits were distributed: $126 million to Donald Trump, $4 million to Eric Trump, and $4 million to Donald Trump Jr., and $4 million to Ivanka Trump. So giving it to his kids, as I would most likely do as well, because that's just something I would do. If I get a huge amount of wealth or a huge amount of money, I would 100% just give it to my friends or what have you. It's just something I would do. I'm that type of person. When questioned about Weisselberg's guilty plea to tax fraud in connection with his employment at the Trump Organization, Donald Trump challenged Weisselberg had committed any wrongdoing, to which Weisselberg admitted, saying, is there something wrong? IBM executives get departments that are compensated by IBM, and lots of other companies do. But people that work for me can't be so compensated. I don't know. That's a big thing, is it? Overall, Donald Trump rarely responded to questions asked, and he frequently interjected long and irrelevant speeches on issues far beyond the scope of the trial. His refusal to answer the questions directly, or in some cases at all, severely compromises his credibility. I don't think so. Because, again, as we said before, he has, everybody has done this. Every realtor has done this. So let's just say that for example, say for instance, you pay for a really nice computer, or maybe a really nice house. Say it's worth like $400,000. I'm not going to go to California terms here because California is already absurd. And then say you pay about maybe you ask the bank to loan you I don't know about $350,000, $400,000. And then you're able to pretty much mostly just buy a majority of the house or what have you. And then the government says no, you are not allowed to do this, and then they say that you have committed fraud. I don't see how that's even remotely possible. When you get a loan and you pay the loan back in full, that's not you committing fraud here. All right, everybody does this. If I want to go and purchase something and I don't have enough, and I have to go get the loan, and then they give me the loan, and then I pay back the loan in full, and including making money off of it, I don't see why that's an issue. If I want to go and sell something, right? If I want to sell my house for whatever amount of money, or sell my computer, even though it's say for instance my computer's a $3,000 computer, and I want to sell it for $8,000 because I think that's what it's worth, why can I not sell it for $8,000? I am the chooser of how much I wanted to sell it for, not the actual government. And this is what the problem is. The government is coming in and doing this and saying this is worth this much, or what have you. This is how corrupt this judge is. How corrupt the Democratic Party is, and also the ones in DC as well, because they're not really fighting back. And this is This is insane to me, right? So this is what's going on here, guys. Trump is getting attacked on all fronts. The New York Times is lying about what they're doing here, and yeah, it's insane to me that this is going on. But at least, the very least, Trump's bond has been cut to 75 million, and that's 10 extra days. We'll see what happens in a week and a half, give or take, because this is all there is to it. Sorry guys for the little bit long video for this small recap, but I just want to go over a few things and a few examples so that way you guys can understand what's really going on. So yeah. Alright guys, that's it for the video. Like, share. As always, take care my friends.
I'm disgusted by what I see in public. Even people closest to us can't be trusted. This is algorithmic disease, the social media.